Now working it back up top with Gage Adams. Delay once again, they like his matchup. Logan Ipps stuck on the defensive side. Cycled back around, Feldman tries to invert. Skips it across, nice look through the middle, Bearcats strike first. Gage Adams cut down the backside, found some space and scores.
Bearcats were fired up from start to finish on that bench. They get the energy off that goal, and you said it, Jess, ball movement. They were able to move it quite sharply around and work it through X. Dan Garone was back there making a lot of movement happen and then cutting right down that alley. Gage Adams picks up his 7th of the year, gets a good angle on net. And again, as strong as Stevens is in there, that's a hard one to stop, especially a chop down shot like that.
And a face-off violation before they even get going will give it right back to the Bearcats. But Kevin McEwen told us this week that the first 4 games when they were struggling on offense, a lot of that came from settling from shots too far outside. They really wanted to start working the offense more. They have started doing that over the last 4 games. That ball movement you mentioned, Brandon, been huge for them. They're creating chances much closer to the net. That's where they're finding more success.
It's being patient, and they didn't have a lot of time on that possession. They only got settled in with about 45 seconds to shoot because of the aggression of this Harvard ride. I think both of these teams are probably going to have to operate pretty quickly because they're going to really face the heat getting across midfield and beyond the restraining line.
And here's your guy, Liam Ferris, our player to watch. Good look over to Adams again with the underhand, sails wide. Working with the second midfield group now. Cartmill finally in the game. Ferris trying to work on Martin Nelson, player of the game for the Crimson against BU on Tuesday. How big was he? Big shot, ricocheted off the helmet. Looked like it went off of Graham Stevens. Might have been Nelson that deflected it, one or the other. That went high in the air off the white lid of the Crimson. Cartmill trying to sweep in. That's a Jack Mellon, actually. He lets it go just wide again. Nobody on the backup for the Bearcats, and an easy possession taken away by Harvard.
Yeah, I think on that first shot, I do think it caught Stevens' helmet and just popped away. And then went almost all the way to midfield, which is crazy. Not the same success on that possession, and now a good chance here for the Crimson to level up this score.
Nice pass along the sidelines from Stevens, threading it into Miles Bacchus. Successful on the clear. Ride hasn't been too much of a factor, at least here early going the first 4 minutes either side, but make no mistake about it, that will come into play at some point as the second midfield rotates in for the Crimson. John Hart dodging down, wins his matchup there, pulls it back outside, didn't draw a slide. Here's Spidell coming around, GLE, big save from Winters.
Kind of the same shot as the first time, in close quarters, but not really at an angle that's going to prove too much of a test.
7-on-7 matchup right there. Feldman not thwarted by Sam King. King, one of the best riding attackmen in the entire country. He's tied for second most among all attackmen in caused turnovers in the entire Division I level. Also the most among attackmen in ground balls. I mean, it's just absurd the type of hustle and effort he brings on top of his prowess as a scorer. There's the rain playing a factor right there as Delay tries to dodge down the alley. They get back to X. Here's Ferris on the backside. This is where he's dangerous. Skip back up top. Andrew Girolamo lets one go. Girolamo is banged up the last couple of games playing through some injury, but closer to 100% now. You saw it right there.
For sure, and yeah, we've seen the first victim of the slippery turf here today. You mentioned a lot of the issues with throwing and catching, and I think one thing we didn't really touch there is the more added difficulty in dodging. So that's another good save from Stevens there. You're gonna have a tougher time getting cemented even on the turf. It's a lot more slippery.
Really tough for defenders as well.
Oh, yeah.
That slippery turf. You got to make sure your feet are under you right here. Good job keeping them for Jack Peterson as the Bearcats try to work the middle. Errant pass skipped away, and now Peterson works the clear. looking for Perry up the sideline. That got away from him. Lucky that Teddy Malone, hustling in the background, scoops up the GB before it went outside and gave it back to the Bearcats. Harvard can settle it down. An offense that was so potent against the Terriers on Tuesday. Quiet through the opening 6 minutes here. Francisco Cortez down the alley. Trying to force the issue inside, gets to the crease, goes Andrew Perry, and he nifties his way in there to score the equalizer at 1.
They were moving it so fast, the slides couldn't really develop. He had a short stick and he took advantage. Blazing speed getting in towards the crease. He had to tiptoe his way out of making that a problem. We'll get another look there from a closer angle. Wow, look at that footwork around the crease. Beats Winters, stays clear of the restricted area, and manages to tie this game up.
So good to see Andrew Perry back and healthy. Again, missed all last year with an injury. Still not 100% coming back from that. He's kind of worked up from the third to the second line for the Crimson, and now back on the first. Gives you an idea of where he's at. Jerry Burns, so excited to have him operating at this level. He was huge on Tuesday as well. But yeah, you mentioned it, Brandon. Won that one-on-one matchup with his speed. No slide from the Bearcats in the backside. He just kept going all the way to the crease.
And that's the thing when you're a team like Harvard and you have so many weapons. You only have so many poles. Who are you going to put them on?
Really good matchup with Sam King today. Working on the top cover guy, Anthony Bolello, who's been fantastic this year for the Bearcats. That'll be a fun one to watch from X. Trying to sweep over the top, come the Crimson. They had a look on the backside. Miles Bacchus open near that far post, but couldn't handle the pass. Gets away and a turnover. Drop ride from the Crimson. One of the top 5 units in the country. Once again, rain maybe playing a factor there. Some of these simple passes for the Bearcats just getting away from them right now. Only 2 seconds to get it across. They don't see it. Finally at the last second, thrown over, but not in time. 20-second violation. The ride from the Crimson comes through here in the first.
That's a big one, and I think you adequately pointed out. Difficulty on that one catch on the way back behind Binghamton's own restraining line. They would have been fine if they got that pass off from the looks of it, but couldn't get it off. And now Harvard, fresh off of that first goal of their day from Perry, a chance to retake the lead.
Yeah, it took maybe about 4 or 5 extra seconds to re-corral. Jackson Green trying to go to Cage, doesn't draw a slide, works it behind for Teddy Malone. Coming around GLE and scores! No angle, no problem. Teddy Malone gives the Crimson their first lead.